Today,
Unfortunately.
no, it's never unfortunate to be here with me, with moi.
Crickets in the background.
I know, right? I should do that. I should put like crickets in the background. Hi, guys. It's your host, Rebecca, for the Reddit Randos. And today I have with me my awesome co-host and sister-in-law, Brandy.
Hi.
So, I gotta wake myself up. Today I was having such a hard time staying awake. Work's got a little boring lately, and I'm just staring at a computer screen, and I don't know how many times I got up just to go to the kitchen.
Hungry.
Yeah, when I'm bored, it's terrible. I just think, oh, what can I do? I could eat something. This is why I'm having such a hard time losing weight. I'm just a foodie. What do you do at home? I want to know. What do you do at home?
Sleep.
I actually did that during my break. I just get off.
My lunch.
Every once in a while, I'll just get off. Like, I'll be saying, I'm going to the restroom, and I'll just lay on the bed. I'm like, just 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and you close my eyes. I can't do this. Like, I'm falling asleep at the screen.
Yep.
As much as I say, it's like, I need to get away from this job, but then if I continue doing this, I'm just staring at another screen. So, I mean, it's not much better. We're on our phones or screens and computers so much. We have to do so much on it. I mean, it's like half the work I do outside of work is on my phone.
Yeah.
And that sucks because I have to put so much time into that. And my kids just think I look at my phone all day. But really, it's because I have to look at emails for their schools and any sports they're in for Parks and Rec and so many things for this podcast that I'm going through. I got a couple things that I need to go through to look into more, kind of like how to edit things better. So it all takes time. It all takes time. And when do we have all the time in the world? Never. Day goes by so fast. Sound like an old man. You know, they can't capture your look. So the more silent you get, we'll just, everyone, if there's ever a pause, it's because Brandy's making faces at me. And we can't capture that yet for all of you to see. But she's just being a little weirdo. She is a weirdo. I am too. But, okay, we're going to get into this. So, before we have more awkward silence for Brandy to make faces. Okay. We're going to start this off. So, some of these stories, it's going to be like, what's going through your head right now? Like, what made you think to do that? Are you stupid?
Probably.
Sometimes I really want to say that, but I'm a nice person. You, on the other hand, you said, you were saying, sure. You know I'm a nice person. You, though, being around you more makes me want to be... You influence me to be rude. No, actually, I still can't even be rude. You'll call someone out. Be like, Brandy. Brandy. Calm down. Yeah, someone's got to do it. And I'm going to let Brandy do it. I'm going to suck up so they can become nice to me, and then I'll get something out of it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, no. Okay, so first one is r/malicious compliance. Boss said we must take lunch at 12, so we did. You think where this is going? This is kind of like everyone's problem, I feel like. Someone always has a new boss has a great idea for the team, and it's like, we already tried that. No. We're going to try it. At my old job, we used to have flexible lunch breaks at work. Could go anywhere or anytime between 11:30 to 2 o'clock. Just made sure that that someone was covering. It all worked fine. Now, a manager comes in, says everyone must take a lunch at exactly 12 o'clock. No exceptions. Okay then. 12 o'clock hits. We all just walk away. Phones ringing. Customers mid-sentence. Mid-sentence. Not our problem. Boss looked panicked, trying to handle it all. By the time we got back, it was a complete mess. Next day, new rule. Lunch between 11:30 to 2 o'clock is fine. Okay, so back to normal? Cool, boss. I feel like that happens a lot. Boss comes in and you have a system and it already works fine. But then they come in saying, oh no, we need to change it up and do this. And it's completely opposite of what you do. And I don't know how many times that we hear something being said that this is going to be great. This is going to be great. And all I can think is, this is going to be so chaotic.
People who actually do the work. It's like,
the people who actually know how to do these things and know the system. Exactly. It's like people like on the shop floor for like a factory, and then you have your upper management people who literally never around people on the shop floor. Or you, like you said, your customer service people that like we already know what it's going to be like around these times. It gets busy, people all on their lunch breaks. It's busy, we got to cover each other and everything. Yeah, no. Just sometimes bosses
they don't know it all.
They don't know it all. And if you haven't been in the game for a while, you know, you're not going to remember how things work. And, you know, it's nice to go off of your coworkers who actually are in that currently. So, like, right now at work, it's so chaotic. And they just keep throwing things at us saying it's going to help. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Just like, at this point, I'm so sarcastic at work. I'll be funny about it, but I'll just be like, okay, whatever you say. I literally told someone, I'm like, yeah, they're like, it's going to be so great. It's going to be so great. Like my boss was saying, it's going to be so great. And I'm just like, I'm literally going to have zero anything like on what this is going to be like. So that way I'm not surprised. Yes. I'd rather be
Hope for the best.
I would rather be impressed on how well it has worked out than be so hyped up and be disappointed. That's like worse. So okay, that was just a little one to kick us off. Next one is it's from r/best of Redditor updates. It is, am I the a-hole for not defending my brother-in-law for missing the birth of his daughter, even though I missed the birth of mine? So, there's trigger warnings, car accident, life-threatening bodily injuries, premature birth. It's not as bad as it says, but... Okay, so this originally came out August 4th of 2020. So, it was a 2020 story. So my wife, 31 female, and I, 29 male, have 2 kids. Our older son and younger daughter, my brother-in-law, Josh, 26 male, has just had a baby girl with his partner, Brad. Now this whole thing about Brad, I guess Brad, it gets really confusing later, but I guess they are considered, they're not a trans person, possibly. I think it's a trans person. So it's a woman as a man, but she's gotten pregnant. It's really confusing. He literally tried to make it not confusing, which was confusing everyone more on here. So he just called the partner Brad. So on the day my daughter was born 2 years ago, I was with my other brother-in-law, Dan, when he was hit by a car. Understandably, he was in bad shape, and I called an ambulance and his parents and told me that my wife was in labor. My wife told me over the phone to go with Dan to the hospital and that she'd be fine. She was more worried for Dan than anyone. We were both at different hospitals. My wife at the local hospital and Dan and I were at a bigger city hospital, and it accumulated in me missing my daughter being born while I stayed with Dan. So he wasn't alone, and I could keep everyone updated. Dan ended up making up a full recovery with some physio, and I think that's physio or I don't know. And my daughter was born with no complications, and I met her when she was just a few hours old. Now, Josh and Brad had a baby due in late August, but Josh had a vacation with his friends booked for July. Note, it was a vacation within the country and within COVID restrictions. Brad asked him not to go so close to the baby being born, and I also advised him not to go, but he chose to anyways as he thought he had enough time. Evidently, he did not. Brad went into labor while he was gone, and his daughter was born without him there. Like my case, it was a few hours before he could get back to meet her. The entire family is fuming at him because we all told him not to go on vacation. He asked for my support because he thought I would understand. And I told him it's a completely different scenario and that I had no choice. And more importantly, my wife's permission. Apparently, he and his friends all believe that we, but me, more specifically me, because I should get it, are a-holes because it wasn't his choice to miss the birth because she was born preemie. I think he's the a-hole because there's a huge difference between the reasons I couldn't be there versus his reasons. I seriously don't get his logic. So I'm asking you guys for some more perspective. Am I the a-hole? First of all, there's an edit. Oh, no. We're not gonna... That. He was saying that Josh's partner is a trans man, not a wife, girlfriend, or lady. Edit number 2. I keep getting asked this. So baby was 5 to 6 weeks early, which would be considered a premature baby. And edit number 3. Wow, this made it to Twitter. So amazed. Okay, we're not gonna go into this because... yeah, it's all about Brad. That's what I'm saying. He confused everyone. He edited it like 4 times just because of Brad. So yeah, baby was 5 to 6 weeks early. Do you think that OP for missing his birth of his child is being an a-hole just like Josh is for missing his?
I agree. It's a completely different scenario. He chose to do an activity around a time that, you know, could have been the birth of his daughter or not. But he chose to take that risk. And he missed the opportunity. So it's different when you're with someone who's in an accident and, you know, they don't have anyone else. That's one thing. I mean, you had an important situation to deal with. Going on vacation is not an important situation that you have to be involved in. So
no, I agree. Knowing he should have known with his partner that they tell you to, not just for the pregnant person, I'm trying to be respectful here, but just for Brad being pregnant, but for also Josh, they tell you not to be traveling at, I want to say 7 to 8 months, because you are more at risk if you are outside of like where your hospital, your primary choice of hospital is going to be, where your doctor's going to be, your OBGYN is going to be at. You want to be close by. You're going to be, you know, the worst fear is that you're traveling and going to go into premature labor away from your safe spot, where you planned basically to have your baby delivered. And you also want to make sure that you're at a place that you're comfortable with and know the people that know you specifically, if there's any complications, if there's anything going on. It's a scary situation because, you know, I mean, yeah, a lot of people have, you know, had babies fine, but every delivery is different. There could be something going on that could become a complication. You are lucky. This guy, Josh, is lucky that, yes, his baby was born prematurely, but he was lucky that nothing was super complicated even more, where he couldn't be, like, it was a life-threatening situation where he had, like, basically you, the partner, has to choose between the mom and the baby.
Yeah.
So he's lucky he wasn't in that situation. I'm so shocked. That just seems super selfish of him to even think that he could bring in OP into this story thinking he would get it. Like not to be there. I would be so devastated if Justin couldn't be there for the birth of our kid. I think he would too.
Yeah.
So for the first OP situation, that's totally understandable. If like he had like one of our brother-in-laws or my brother with him in an accident, I'd be like, stay with him and make sure he's fine, because they were all alone, and I wouldn't want to leave that person alone who was in a serious accident. And leave him alone and everything. And I'd be like, I'd have my backup people. I'd have my parents, my sister, or someone to be there.
Yeah.
So, heck, I'd even call you if I had... I'd call everyone, basically.
Yeah.
Like, Justin's with this person. Whoever's available, please come.
Right.
Someone watch my kids. I'll drive myself if I have to. So, yeah, no, but this guy, totally the a-hole for thinking that his reason was more justifiable. You know, just like the other guy. Like, he planned to go on a trip. That's stupid. Your wife's...
And your partner asked
partner's
you
about...
not to.
Yes, that was another thing. The partner did not agree with this. They were worried that what if something happens? And look what happened.
And
they
doing that,
manifested
you can also
it.
put your partner in stress that could induce that labor as well. So...
Yeah,
that's
honestly...
a risk too.
I don't know how many times I hear stories with, pregnant women that are in stressful situations, and people are like, they're fine. Like, no, you don't want to put this person in stressful situations, because it could cause them to go into premature labor. It could cause harm to themselves and the baby. Stress and anxiety causes quite a bit of things to the body, and for when you're pregnant with another human being inside you, that is another issue in itself, that you just don't want to cause any more harm to those people, So there is relevant comments, like first commenter was not the a-hole. He clearly didn't have his priorities straight. If he chooses to go on a vacation when his pregnant partner is asking him not to, he is already an a-hole. He is just trying to use you as a shield.
Yeah.
Next person was like, info, how long was he supposed to be away for, and what day of him being gone did the partner go into labor? Irrelevant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long he was supposed to go. He agreed during the time partner was pregnant and due probably in the next month and a half. I would never go anywhere 2 months away. Yeah, 2 months away from your due date, I wouldn't go anywhere far. Partner.
Not to mention, you don't always make the full term in pregnancy, so...
Like, if it was a business trip that he couldn't miss, that would be another... I think he could maybe ask, like, hey, can we not schedule any meetings for me to travel for the next at least 2 months? Or could we get them all done, like, 3 months before her due date? But, yeah, I think in that case, he could still try and work around if it was like a business trip. But in this case, I don't think this was a business trip. This was for pleasure. This was this was a fun trip. If it was a trip with the boys. You gotta, it had to be a trip with the boys, because if it wasn't with the partner and it wasn't with family, the family's fuming at him. Like, yeah, it was a trip with the boys, with his friends, and that's just dumb.
Because it's one thing if it's business. I mean, like, if you have to attend, I mean, you're the provider, you're making money. That's one thing. But if it's just for funsies, then that's another thing.
Apparently, this is what it sounds like. That it wasn't something for business. It was something that he had planned ahead to have fun and do. I'm sorry, like, honestly... If we had a planned trip with the family way ahead of time, and all of a sudden I found out I was pregnant and it was going to be like really close to the time we were going on that trip, we'd have to make that decision probably not to go, because I'd be too close, and with a newborn, you just don't want to. You want to be home. You want to be home with the baby. You don't want to be going out and about.
Not to mention if there's complications and you're stuck wherever you are.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just whenever a newborn is in the play, it's just like, no, we want to really keep things simple. Mm-hmm. We don't want to complicate things for the mother and for the baby. So then we're going to skip all these other comments because I feel like they're just irrelevant. I don't know. They're just trying to look into it more, and yeah. So the update happened 3.5 weeks later. Well, I wasn't expecting the response on my last post. I thought some of you might like an update, and a couple of people on Twitter requested it. It's a happy ending. You'll be glad to hear it. I did send Josh this post, and he admitted that he messed up. Brad has reported to me that Josh has well and truly repented. Their baby girl is now 4 weeks old, and Josh has been on night duty since she was a week old. He apologized to Brad for not being there for him, and to me for dragging him into it. Both of us forgive him, and it seems like everything will be okay. Their daughter is happy, healthy little girl and very vocal one at that. She's apparently a big fan of yelling at her dad's and not sleeping, so Josh is certainly receiving his karma. Unfortunately, she's yet to meet her cousins and most of the family thanks to COVID, but we received plenty of video calls and photos. Brad has also saw the post and thanked everyone for their congratulations and support. He's recovering well at home, and he's almost ready to start binding again, as well as slowly returning to take a HRT. I don't know what this talk is, but yeah, so if anyone knows, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I don't really want to Google right now. I'm sure some of you will be disappointed to hear that Josh has been forgiven, because Reddit just all wants to like go at people's throats. But that's just the way it goes. My niece will grow up in a happy family with 2 dads who love her, and hopefully Josh will never be so dumb again.
Never be so dumb again.
I mean,
I doubt it.
I was going to say, I doubt he won't ever be dumb again because it just happens.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? That's good. I'm glad everyone's been forgiven, and he also saw the way he was and that it was bad.
Yeah.
That's all we ask for, is that you realize and admit that what you did was wrong. You take ownership of it, and we move past it.
Right.
You know? Make sure you're now being there for your partner because you just missed the birth of your baby. Okay. Next one. Okay. This next one is an r/wedding shaming. It is called Best Man Speech Was Incredibly Insulting to the Couple.
Oh. All right.
Yes, this was 7 days ago. So I was a guest at a wedding. Knew both the groom and the bride before they started dating, and they are both very lovely, kind people. The groom's family had an attitude of, it's about time, having seen the groom date people, party in the city, etc. He was not old by any means, early to / mid-30s. The best man was the groom's brother, and his speech still lives rent-free in my head. He got up and started off with some jabs about typical family, brother, athletic banter, and then turns to the couple. He goes on to explain that their relationship is similar to how the groom shops at IKEA. You go through the store, so many options. What about that one? What about this one? Can't make up his mind. So you keep moving, and eventually you get to the warehouse area where you pick up the parts. And then right before the checkout line, you look to your left and see the returns incomplete bin and grab something out of there right before checking out. The best man chuckles at this point, and the entire audience is silent except for someone who audibly says, "What the F?" I just love to see. I would love to hear the silence and literally someone in the back, "What the F?"
What's going on?
And then someone came to grab the mic right away from him as he was raising a glass to the couple. His own brother roasted him and her, comparing her to the last possible option, broken or damaged.
Yeah.
That's awful. At one point, a family member of the bride had to be restrained from a fight. I think it was her cousin or friend. Not sure. The buffet line was super awkward right after that. And everyone was talking about it for the rest of the night. Luckily, the couple brushed it off and didn't let it dominate the night. I would have been out for blood, but they kept it classy. A distant relative said, "I've been going to weddings my entire life. Ain't nothing as bad as that crap." Woof.
Goodness.
That's awful. That's your brother. That's your best man. And you say that at a wedding?
It's
like,
one
keep
thing
it to
if
yourself.
You're gonna talk to your brother like that in person, or in confidence. But to say it in front of the bride on her wedding day, when she thinks she's the luckiest girl, that's horrible.
That is so cringy and so awful and so awkward.
Yeah.
So yeah, that silence was very much valid on why everyone's just like, did he really just say that?
Yeah.
Like, he just goes into it more. I don't know if you've ever, if you've, just listened to someone talk and you're like, are they going to stop anytime soon?
Like, are we done here?
this is just getting worse and worse and worse. Top comment was, everyone wants to be the funny man. In reality, most people should simply be a little sentimental and a lot concise. Wedding speeches aren't your opportunity to be a stand-up comedian. Say something nice about the groom, say something nice about the bride, say something nice about them as a couple, toast, and put the microphone down. Nothing more is needed.
I agree.
I agree. I think sometimes people get a little too, fancy, or they try to do too much.
Some weddings have too many speeches.
Yeah.
It's one thing for the fathers to say something, or the bride, or the maid of honor and the best man. That's fine. But when you have everyone in the family giving speeches, it's we don't care.
I know, because then it's I get it. Maybe best man and the maid of honor, and because they're your pick of your two closest people. So do that. If they don't want to do it, then at least one other. If they don't want to do it specifically, then one other person in the wedding party. But I think 2 speeches is good.
Yeah,
2 speeches, we're done. Maybe mother or parents of the groom or bride could thank everyone or something like that, do a little thing there. But honestly, yeah, keep it short and sweet.
Yeah,
nobody wants to hear about all that stuff. No offense. I'm sorry, you hear about it, but if you only know one side of the family, and the other person's like, oh, okay, that's
who are you?
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah. Okay, can we go dance now?
Yeah.
Or can we eat? It's literally that. Can we just go eat? We're so hungry.
Cut the cake.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next one. Moving on. This is the one that's from just a day ago, and it is from r/Am I Overreacting? It is, am I overreacting for calling the cops on my roommate after what they did to my pet?
Depends.
Well, I'm sorry. What, are you calling the cops on something done to your pet? I would say it'd be bad.
Yeah, but...
Okay, so I, 22 female, have a dog named Beans, who is literally my emotional support animal and the love of my life. I'm guessing it's just your pet.
I would say a physically emotional support?
Emotional support animal. I would say it is her happy person.
Yeah.
that thing makes her happy. And without him, it's
she's sad.
Sorry, I lost my dog, my pet, and it crushed me. That was my everything when I was younger, until Justin came around. No, it was still my everything when Justin came around. Yeah. Just marry a dog. I don't need boys or people. I just need a dog.
A dog.
Okay, so literally my emotional support animal and the love of my life. I live with 2 roommates, one of whom, let's call her Jade, 24 female, has always had a weird attitude toward Beans, making little comments like, he's too spoiled, or he acts like he owns the place. He probably does.
Yeah. To his owner, he does.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, last weekend, I went home to visit my family. I was gone for 2 days. I left Beans at home because Jade offered to feed him and take him out. I even left written instructions, labeled everything, and texted her reminders. She said, don't worry, I got it. When I got back, Beans was gone. Jade told me she rehomed him because she couldn't stand his barking. And I think you were paying too much attention to this dog. She gave my dog away without asking me. To someone she met on Facebook Marketplace. No papers, no ID, no nothing. I absolutely lost it. I screamed at her, cried for hours, then called the police and filed a theft report. Now her parents are blowing up my phone saying I'm ruining her life over a dog, and I should have just talked it out. I finally got Beans back. Turns out the lady she gave him was horrified when she found out the truth and gave him back to me. But Jade says I overreacted and made her feel unsafe by calling the cops instead of handling it privately.
Well, you shouldn't have been dumb.
I was going to say, she made her feel unsafe by calling the cops. You literally just gave away
the dog's barking,
most precious thing that she held on to while she was gone for 2 days.
And you probably weren't paying attention, so that's probably why it was barking or being emotional or loud. You can't do that with animals, especially vocal animals like dogs.
I think she planned to do it all along.
Probably.
Because she said she offered. She offered help. Why would you offer to help if you were already annoyed with this dog?
Well, she probably thought it was fine until the dog reacted to being ignored, and then
A dog is like a child. You have
that's
you
what I'm
have to
saying
give it
is
attention.
She probably didn't think. I mean, it's not a cat where you can ignore it and it won't,
It can do its own thing and not be bothered and care at all.
It will entertain you or it will leave you alone.
Yeah. A dog always wants to be by a person.
Yeah.
They want to be loved constantly.
Not to mention if the dog's used to a routine of going on walks or playing
Yeah,
catch
like
or
she
whatever,
said,
yeah.
I gave her instructions. I labeled everything. And she's like, don't worry, I got it. Like, no.
Yeah.
No, you knew from the beginning. After 2 days, you couldn't stand it. You couldn't even text her back and say, hey, I think I'm a little overwhelmed right now.
Yeah.
Could you maybe come back early, or is there someone else I could send them to take care
I
of the
would have
dog?
been like, is someone else around that I can take the dog to, or can someone else come over to watch the dog?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, basically the thing is, am I like, am I overreacting by calling the cops instead of handling it privately? She didn't handle it with you privately.
No.
She just gave the dog away.
Especially if she said,
like, is that how you're going to handle anyone's? Is that how you're going to be responsible with anything you can't handle for too long? You're just going to throw it away? Give it away? No one's going to ever trust you or want to be around you if you're just going to give their frickin' stuff away.
Yeah, it's not like it was just an object. It was a living
It was a
being.
living thing.
So
it was her pet that she obviously was very attached to.
Attachment to, yeah. So
it was clear as day that this lady just didn't want the dog.
Yeah.
Like, she's already had an attitude towards the dog. She offered to help with the dog.
And that is stealing, especially if there's no paperwork,
Exactly.
of agreement.
So thank goodness.
And luckily that other person was like, I completely understand. Here's the dog back.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, at least she got the dog back, and the person that was given it to totally understood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh.
That person could have been out of the country with that dog, or who knows where with that dog, or who knows what could have happened to that dog.
I'm sorry if this was my situation, because I'm very attached to my animals. I would be livid.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I would probably react the same way here. I would be so livid. And, of course, I don't know if she screamed and cried and said, where's my dog? And who knows if the roommate wasn't willing to give that information because she didn't want the dog back.
Yeah.
And she'll just be
like, she knew
she
was in trouble, then she's like, well, why couldn't we have just handled this civilly? Well,
yeah. You didn't think that... What did you think she was going to react when she came back knowing you gave the dog away?
Yeah.
You couldn't even come up with a good lie saying, like, oh, the dog ran away.
This wasn't like old clothes where it's like, oh, you know what, whatever. I don't fit into them anyway. This was,
or accidents happen where she left the door open, which would still be awful, but somehow the dog got out and ran away, and honestly, I probably would think this person was lying about it too if if
there was no work, like I'm putting up flyers, I'm
exactly. This person's not remorseful at all that this happened.
Not until there's legal action.
She only did what was best for her. And she was just selfish. And I'm sorry, I would never be friends with this person again.
No.
Never. You gotta be an animal lover.
Me and my dog are out.
Exactly. Okay, so top comment is, you are in no way overreacting. She gave your dog away. I would have lost my absolute mind. I would have called the police and also would press charges. There is absolutely zero circumstance in which giving someone else's dog away is appropriate. She lost any right to handle it privately when she gave your dog away on Facebook. There is no private handling at this point.
There was intention when she made a post about it on Facebook. It's not like she was drunk at a party, like, oh, take the dog.
Right, exactly.
It was completely intentional.
She literally, intentionally went on Facebook. She did work to give this dog away. That's intention. That's intentional. She offered to dog sit. It was 2 days. If she couldn't stand the barking, I'm guessing she wasn't feeding him, taking him out, walking him, or playing with him enough or at all. Either that or this was her plan all along.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's like, this wasn't just something, I don't know. I just, if I was taking care of someone's animal and it was getting a little too much, like either maybe I had another pet and they weren't getting along and it was just like, nope. Sorry, I thought this was going to be okay, and apparently it's just too stressful for both these animals. I can't do this. And they're far away. Maybe they're in a different state. Like if it was your cats and I'd be like, is there someone else that, like, can we take them back to your place? Or, you know, obviously they're in the same place here. But I'd be like, is there any other thing I can do until you get back?
Yeah.
But it was like 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days. That's not a long time.
No.
But if you're like that crazy, like, this is just too much, I can't stand taking care of this dog, even though I live with this person and this dog.
Yeah.
I can't be alone with this dog. That's just the crazy
Yeah.
part of it. She's already lived with this dog before. She's just not...
It wasn't someone who wasn't used to the dog or the schedule of the dog. They completely knew that.
They were oblivious just what it was like probably taking care of an animal. Or honestly, no. The whole thing is she had this intended to happen. This was her way to get rid of the dog.
Yeah.
This person is evil. Evil! So, yeah. I don't even want to get into it much more because I'm going to say something mean. And I just said I wasn't a mean person on here. But I would straight up be a mean person if something like this happened to me.
Oh, yeah, I would.
I would literally tell that person, like, get out, you're moving out. Like, either we're breaking this lease or you move out now. Because I will live somewhere else. Anywhere else than be with this person. Ugh, my goodness. Okay, next story. Aha, this is the one I had from a while ago. This is my best friend accidentally sent me a text about secretly hating me.
Fun.
So this was from 7 months ago. It was posted on r/2 hot takes. And that is another podcaster who does Reddit stories, Morgan. So shout out to Morgan. Your stories are great, and I love listening to your podcast.
I don't know who you are.
Shush. I'm the only one that knows any of these people. Okay, so I'm doing what you're doing, and it's awesome. So, anyways, my best friend accidentally sent me a text about secretly hating me. Hi, everyone. Longtime listener of 2 Hot Takes and FKS, which I'm trying to think what that is, but it's something else. Okay. Looking for advice or comfort as I am truly heartbroken. I, 20 female, and my best friend, 21 female, have been friends since high school. Now, we are a part of the same college friend group. Friday night, everyone was hanging out together like we typically do on the weekends. I had 1 drink, and my best friend had 3 to 4 drinks before we went back to her house. Everything was totally normal. I wasn't exactly planning to stay the night, but she pleaded with me and said we could get breakfast in the morning if I stayed. I obliged, and she told me that she was going to sleep alone in her room so that she could call her long-distance boyfriend. So after telling each other, I love you, good night, and giving hugs, I went to go sleep in the guest room. After about 20 minutes later, I received a text from her that read, she's staying in the guest room, so I don't want to talk crap about her too loudly. I responded with a simple, huh? And received another longer text complaining about how she can't just figure out a respectful way to get rid of me. It was probably around 2:45 a.m. at this point, but I packed up all my things and snuck out the back door. The next morning, she sent me a voice memo apologizing and saying that she was drunk and meant to text her boyfriend.
That's no better.
That's no better.
You still had the intention.
She meant to text her boyfriend, but I'm just not that fun anymore, and we've grown apart. So basically... she didn't apologize.
Yeah.
That was not an apology.
Like, it was valid with what I did, but sorry.
Sorry, but...
no.
When there's a but involved, there's no sorry. My heart is broken. It feels wrong to bring it up to anyone else in our group of friends, so I've spent the last few days grieving and trying to remind myself that I'm only 20 and I can still bounce back and find new friends.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately, my 21st birthday is in a few weeks, and now I fear I won't have anyone to spend it with. I guess posting this and venting anonymously online to a bunch of strangers might help. I'm not sure, but while I wait for my emergency therapy appointment tomorrow, any advice is appreciated.
I mean, you can still hang out with your friends. You don't necessarily have to invite her. It's your birthday.
I mean, just because it's mutual friends doesn't mean you still can't talk to them.
Right.
I mean, just tell them the situation. Like, hey, unfortunately, we've kind of had a falling out. Just something came out, but would you guys still like to hang out? And if, I'm afraid, this person, though, knowing how she's like, she's going to just talk crap about her to the friends. And I think she needs to go out and just be like, hey, I have my birthday in a couple of weeks. I'd really like you guys to come to it. Blah, blah, blah. This person and her, she might, I don't think I'm going to invite her because something happened recently. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't even have to tell them. You can just invite them and plan a thing. And if they ask, you can let them know. If they don't, then let it be.
Honestly, yeah, I don't think she needs to give up on this friend group. I don't know what the vibe is with this friend group, if they're maybe more friends with this best friend than she is with her, and then they're going to just take, you can already tell maybe they're going to take her side.
At that age, you're still basically high school.
I mean, she's 2021. They are young.
Yeah,
they're not
fresh out of high
school. They are not fully mature yet.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell. Like, when you're that young, you make dumb choices. Yeah. And friend groups can be, at a young age, can be weird because they can know it's probably wrong, but still go with the person that's totally in the wrong because somehow they click more.
They can split pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it's just weird. So, yeah, I mean, I would still talk to them, and just if they are, like, someone that you think, or at least someone in that group that you think that you're close enough that you can maybe confide in, or just make sure that, hey, at least someone can come with me. Otherwise, it's in a few weeks.
I would say bond with the people that you have, and
I know there's got to be other people that you're friends with, and
yeah, but maybe not enough that she wants to spend her 21st birthday with.
She could literally find people on Bumble.
There you go.
Isn't there something like people can find friends through an app?
It's probably not the safest. Don't do that. But.
Well, yeah, if you're 20, turning 21, yeah. Then you tell people, like, hey, I'll buy you a shot on my birthday if you come out with me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there goes all your money.
I'll spend your tab.
Yeah, right? If you come and hang out with me. That just sounds desperate. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know. I hope they have, like, a family member or someone else that's close. Or at least maybe someone in that friend group that she can actually talk to. I feel like being 20 and maybe, I don't know if she is in college or if it's just the best friend. I don't know. But in that case, I kind of do think she needs to reach out to someone and being like, just be like, not talk crap about the best friend, but maybe just say, hey, we had this situation go on, and I'm just afraid it's going to break us up, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah. So I honestly think you need to talk to your girls and just do a group chat saying it's not anything big to talk about, but I don't think I'm going to hang out with this person. I'm going to distance myself around them just for a little bit, but still want to invite you guys to go out in a few weeks. I do think there is an update, and I did not expect that until I saw that tonight. So, and I don't even know how much longer. It was somewhere in the same month, though, because it still says 7 months ago. So, hi everyone. I want to begin by thanking you for all the love and support on my first post. People have asked me for an update. I wasn't sure exactly how to do so, but hopefully this works. Last night, I went to my now ex-friend's house to pick up some items left during my rushed exit the other night. Ex-friend is visiting family out of state for Thanksgiving, so she wasn't present. However, one of her roommates, R, was there, and we ended up having a little chat about what happened. R and I are pretty close, so I felt comfortable showing her what happened. She was just as shocked and confused when reading through the messages and assured me that I did nothing wrong. She also promised me that everyone else in our friend group loves me and wants me around regardless of what ex-friend may think. She told me that she's going to sit ex-bestie down when she gets home and call her out on her BS. I do feel pretty guilty about potentially turning the friend group away from ex-bestie, but I'm choosing to let her actions speak for themselves. I do still plan on taking a little step back from everyone else in the group, though. As much as I truly do love my other friends, I know that after this, I won't feel safe enough to come around all the time and truly be myself. I think it's going to take some time for me before I can be around everyone without overanalyzing my every move. I'm a big overthinker, people pleaser, so I know that the next few interactions with everyone, I'll be laser focused on whether or not I'm being fun enough, which wouldn't be very fun for me. As for my birthday, I'll be spending it with my family, as many of you suggested. In the end, I am glad to have gotten some kind of validation from someone in the group, and someone's kind words on here really helped as well. So thank you to everyone out there. So, okay, good. So, yeah, she has some family. That's good. I was hoping, but I don't know anymore with some people if they actually are close with their family or not. So, if
some people don't always have the most fun family to do birthdays with.
No.
Especially
like
21 birthdays.
Exactly. But I never went out because drinking was not a big thing that my family was, like, prohibited in wanting to acknowledge. Yeah, they didn't want to partake in. They, the funny thing is that they never, like, didn't say don't do it. Like, obviously, when, not until I'm older, but it was just very much a thing we don't partake in.
Yeah.
And they never did. So then it was kind of like
Just a known thing, like
I kind of felt like the outsider for even thinking of doing it. So yeah, I honestly actually never even drank until I was like 22, because then I was breastfeeding with my first kid when I was 21, and my birthday was on Easter. My 21st birthday was on Easter. So honestly, I was like, God, are you trying to tell me a message? Can I not drink on my birthday?
Oh, goodness.
No, yeah. But it wasn't until like basically a year later, after I was done nursing and everything, that I finally got out with some people, and I finally was out there, and I think it was someone I went bowling with, and I went to the bar because I forgot that at the bowling alley, like at the one on Fleur, I didn't know you could have like alcohol drinks there. So I literally went to this lady. I don't know. I'm like I said, I lived under a rock growing up. But I went to the lady, this sweet older lady. She seemed pretty spunky and pretty cool. And I went up to her. I'm like, hi, I'm 22. I've never drank, and I'm finally able to drink since I'm not breastfeeding anymore. What would you recommend? She was so kind. And she's like, well, what do you recommend? What do you like? Do you like sweet? Do you like more of a bitter or savory? And I'm like, I like sweet stuff. So she had me try a Jolly Rancher, and then she had me try a Sex on the Beach. And I'll tell you what, I love a good Sex on the Beach.
Don't we all?
The drink, not the actual thing. But I think that was like my go-to drink whenever, if I ever did go out. I think you remember, because I would probably order them with you.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. I had it was a Long Island iced tea one time.
Ew, I like Long Island.
Because there was like a deal at one point, and I was, those things.
Those are yummy.
Those can mess you up. Oh, man. Sometimes I kind of miss going out. Sometimes it was fun socializing with people and doing that.
Yeah, you
and
make friends.
I didn't like going to the crazy ones. I liked going to literally the small, like, local ones around a neighborhood.
Yeah.
My friend and I would go out there, just like, she would find some good areas. And the smaller location it was, the cheaper the drinks were. So you'd find like a group of people that would go to this area all the time. Or they'd have like karaoke. I love karaoke. Yeah. You get buzzed enough. Karaoke sounds good. So.
You may not, but.
I know. You'd like to stand in a corner and not. No, you get socialize. You socialize.
I can socialize.
Yeah.
I may not like doing it, but I can do it.
Yeah. You can tell some people to bug off.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a good happy ending at least. And I think some distance, depending, like we were saying, like, we don't know what this group of friends are like. So, and it would be hard if you had to pull two people kind of like.
But she at least had someone to back her up and.
Exactly. And roommate. Out of all people, the roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's.
She wasn't losing everybody.
She wasn't. No, that was good. Okay, I do have one more story. It's a doozy. So I definitely need to say this one with you. So this one is from Best of Redditor Updates, or BOR Updates as they have it for. And it originally came from r/True Off My Chest. So this person's not asking if they're the a-hole or anything. They're literally just literally saying something that's been weighing on their chest. And it originally came out just a few months ago, April 29th of 2025. It is, my mother-in-law asked my husband to subscribe to her OnlyFans to support her.
Okay.
Question, you're thinking about how this is going to go?
Yeah.
I'm already thinking, like, what is going through this mother-in-law's
Why?
mind? Why?
Gross.
Like, that just says a whole new meaning to being close to your son. And what is it, the word enmeshment? Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so it's basically it's more compared to a mother wanting to be so close or like married to her son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like, mommy's little boy, and they're like huge into, always being there for mom, or mom doesn't want them to be
on both.
or the mom like disapproves of who they're with and ends up trying to be always in the picture with them or make their decisions. It's always like, you need to choose me over her.
Right.
Yeah. So, I feel like this is going to be like one of those. Okay. So, posting this on my personal page because the original was removed. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. My mother-in-law, 40 female, has always been very open about sex. When I first met my husband, she managed a sex toy store. About a year ago, she started working towards a degree on sexual health and wellness. She nude models for a local artist, and around a month ago, she started an OnlyFans account. Sex and an openness about it, and has always been an extraordinarily normal thing for her. I have absolutely nothing against her working in the sex industry. That's her forte, and I'm happy that she's doing well and enjoying what she does. However, I've had some slight concerns about it before. Not specifically her working in the sex industry or her openness in general, more so how open she is, especially with her own kids. So, for example, my husband and I started dating in high school when she was managing the sex store. When she would come home from work, she would stop into my husband's boyfriend at the time's room and hand us sample sizes of different lubes and sensation creams, saying, "I thought you guys would want to try some of these."
Weird.
It was... It always made us both pretty uncomfortable, and it was extremely awkward to have my boyfriend's mom hand me things to try sexually with her son. But nonetheless, the most conversation that my husband and I have ever had about it back then was about how awkward it was. Awkward and uncomfortable enough that we never actually used these things. We just piled them on the shelf by his bed. Another time, while we were dating, fresh out of high school, we were hanging out with his sisters. His mom was still working at the sex toy. This is like tongue twister. Sex toy shop. Once in a while, she would come home with silly toys. And on this night, she walked in with a 1-foot-long, glittery dildo. She's playfully whipped it out and towards us like a sword. And sisters scream and run around from her, and for a while we all laughed and had fun with it, snatching it from one another and chasing each other around with the glitter schlong. Eventually, my husband's sister, 17 at the time, said something like, "Mom, you better not have brought this home to use. That's crazy." My husband chimed off like an ew, saying he didn't need to think about that. And his mom laughed and replied, "Oh no, that's silicone. You know the toys I use are glass."
Oh.
Again, my husband made a weird face, but didn't say anything. When we got to his room, I said that it was weird that his mom talked to her children about what she uses to get her rocks off.
Yeah.
And he told me that she's always been way too open about things that none of them wanted to know, but that she's always been this way, so he's just gotten used to tuning it out. As times went on, I got used to the openness, and it was just that, being too open, and that about personal stuff within conversation. However, yesterday, the openness went too far. My husband and I were sitting in our living room watching TV. My husband got a text from his mom and opened it, and had a visceral reaction. He tossed his phone down, stood up, and walked away from it with his hands over his face while saying things like, "Oh my gosh," and "holy crap" under his breath. Naturally, I thought someone had died, so I started frantically asking what was wrong. All he said was that he didn't even want to open his phone again. I asked him again what was wrong, and he told me that his mom just sent him pictures. I was confused, but my concern started to grow. I asked him what he meant by pictures, and he hesitated before saying, I don't want to ask you to look, but I can't open it back up to delete it myself, so I need you to. I need you to. My stomach dropped. I opened his phone to see what was there, and I immediately felt nauseous. There was a text that read, Hey, I know you've always been... Hey, I know you've always supported me and wanted to see if you'd be willing to subscribe to my OnlyFans so that I can get my numbers up while I'm still getting started. Of course, I don't expect you or want you to look through it, but the more subscriber numbers I have, the more engagement I can get. I was also wondering if you'd be willing to share my link to some of your friends at work. Husband is in a male-dominated blue-collar job. The pics I included are to send them with the link, but don't tell them I'm your mom. And under it was the pictures. There were 3 nude photos of his mother.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Oh my gosh. And not just naked in a mirror or a pic of the boob kind of photos. They were full-on pornographic photos. One of her tied up in BDSM gear, one of her face down, butt up on her bed, and one of her with legs spread and a dildo halfway in her mouth. This is awful. No wonder I would be traumatized.
She needs therapy.
She needs therapy. He needs therapy after seeing that. Like if I saw my parents or my mother, your mother, no, I can't even. No. Okay. Where was I? I'm like, so my blood was boiling. I deleted what she'd sent, and my husband and I were both silent for a moment. I didn't know what else to say or do, so I broke the silence by asking, What now? My husband told me to block his mom on his phone, so I did. I asked if this was something his mom has done before, and he said no. He told me that in the past she asked if he wanted to see pictures of the drawings that she posed nude for. He always felt a bit guilty saying no, so he simply didn't respond when she asked, and she never sent it. Then my husband went pale and started walking to the bathroom, saying he felt sick. While he was in the bathroom, I blocked his mom on my phone as well, including her social medias. When my husband came back out of the bathroom, he called his sister. He asked her if she was with their mom, and when she said no, he explained to her all of what had just gone down. His sister was also speechless. Then he asked her not to say anything to other family members right now and explained that neither him or I would be in contact with their mom for a while. He also told me that any time we were home for a visit, he would let his sisters know so that he could plan to see them, but that his mom would not be included in those plans from there on out. My mother-in-law quickly realized that she was blocked on everything from both of us, and by that night, she had the whole family blowing up our phones asking why.
Asking why? She obviously didn't tell him what.
Do you not know what you just did? The constant messages haven't stopped, and so far we've just muted our phones as we don't even know what to say. How do you explain that your mother sent you her homemade porn?
Not to mention, she didn't send it to all the kids, just her son.
Just her son. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That says something there.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's because, oh, well, he had a job that I know he's got a lot of male friends or coworkers that would enjoy this. No, why would you even send things where he can see all that?
Yeah, I would never.
There's a thing called too open, and then there's a thing being just ridiculous.
Yeah, you want to share stories or something, fine.
This person's delusional to think that this is all normal. This is okay.
To give him visuals beyond his imagination where he's actually seeing it is disgusting.
Like, I'm surprised.
Surprised he hadn't said something before. But like, Mom,
no, but honestly, it's so funny the way he is. Like, we don't know if he's maybe, like, really sexual in his life, and maybe because his mom was, it just turned him off, and that's why maybe he's not as much of, like, I don't know, you think about that. When you're, like, overly sexual around people, and does that, like, influence them to be more like that, or does that turn them off? Like, just saying, like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
So maybe that was, like, him. Like, he was just like, oh, that's always been her. And I've never, like, wanted to be, you know, around that and everything. But what makes him, what, I mean, obviously, for him not speaking up this long, she's thought he's been okay with it this whole time.
The thing is, yeah, I don't...
But you're his mom. It's not like you're a person that you see every once in a while. No, this is your mom who you've been around all your life. And you can't even tell if your own son is uncomfortable by this.
And the thing is she said to send these pictures to your friends or your coworkers.
Which,
don't tell them I'm your mom. He still has those pictures of his mom. That's disgusting.
That's disgusting.
And someone's going to find out that, that's your mom and you have these pictures.
Why would you want to send them to your coworkers and be like, knowing if they want to watch this woman, they're like, oh no, now they're getting their rocks off by watching
you guys
his
look
mom.
Similar. Are you sure you're not?
Yeah,
lying?
right. Don't tell them
you have her eyes.
I know, like, oh wow, yeah, like
no.
And then the question I would be like, so how do you know this person to send them?
Aren't you married or
yeah, like. So how do you know this?
Yeah.
And what made you think of sending it to us? Yeah, no.
And,
none of
she
that's
said
going to
go
go well.
The link on his pages. He's married, and if people know his relationship and think he's got some random woman's OnlyFans on his profile, they're going to think badly of him. Because he's not, being fully committed to his wife in whatever way.
Don't involve family when it comes to this. Especially if they're not...
Children.
Don't involve your children. Oh my gosh. Just like if it was like a daughter who was doing it, don't involve your parents into that. That is disgusting to involve family into something sexual.
You got a gay cousin or something, go for it. If they're into it.
I would say, if you got like sisters, siblings, I don't know. But like when it comes to parents and children and vice versa... Do not involve them in that. No. Keep that to yourselves. The parents don't want to hear about their kids doing stuff, and the kids don't want to hear about their parents doing stuff. It's always been that way. Yeah. Yes, you guys can have little conversations when you get older, like your friends and everything, but not with OnlyFans.
Yeah, no.
No, not. Okay, so there is an update. When my husband got home from work today, he did have me recover the messages for evidence. Should it be needed. I screenshotted the message with timestamps for each of the photos. In the photos, I scribbled over her not so private areas as well. After that, I sent the images to my phone and once again deleted the ones from his phone, both in his mother's text and mine per husband's request. This was something that several people suggested in the comments of my previous post, and believe me, we were on the same page before I even read them. My husband and I are also regulars in therapy, both individual and couples counseling. When we got married, we agreed that doing counseling from the get-go was a good idea. Not a bad idea. Not because we had problems in our marriage, but it gives us the tools to confront issues in the future and keeps us on the same page 100% of the time. That being said, I asked my husband if he'd ever mentioned his mother's sexualness in his own therapy sessions, and he said no. Since it is how she's always been raised, he saw it was a mostly normal thing. I suggested that this should definitely be brought up at his next session, and he agreed. I also asked if there was anything that happened that was a bit overboard in the past. Outside of the conversation, he said that his mother would often come home from work with new lingerie, and she would wear it and put it on and wear it around the house for the rest of the night as if it were regular clothes. When she would do this, he would either stay in his room or go to a friend's house because it made him uncomfortable. Several people asked why there hasn't been a conversation about her talking about uncomfortable topics. There has been. When my husband and I were dating, both of us minors, she would talk to my husband about our sex life explicitly. Some of the questions she asked him is if he likes girls who are clean-shaven, if him and I were using lube, if I preferred ribbed condoms, if he had tried certain positions, even if I preferred stimulation via clitoris or G-spot. These are getting really detailed. When she would ask these things, my husband simply wouldn't answer with more than a, I don't know. But eventually, he did get her to stop, and he told her that he didn't want to talk about these things with her, that he knew I wouldn't want her talking about those things with her, and that her asking this stuff made him extremely uncomfortable. Her response was to get defensive and act as if she'd been disrespected. She would say that sex was normal and that she should be able to have these conversations with her son. She even accused him of shaming her sexuality. So he went back to ignoring the questions altogether. Ugh, it's that kind of person.
Mm.
Some suggested that we have an in-person conversation with her about this happening. Not only do we live far away, but we aren't ready for a conversation about it. And we especially aren't ready to discuss it in person. This happened yesterday afternoon, and it was honestly very long time before any sort of communication happens with her at all. I did find out that she'd been telling family, she's telling them that she asked if her son supported her, not if he would subscribe and share her content. That is why family has been reaching out and asking why we've blocked her for asking that. We will be telling family exactly what happened, but we aren't quite ready to do so yet, and will come within the next few days. We're still processing all of what's going on. Okay, so in this case, it's just saying he's going to a session tomorrow. The main reasons that they took the screenshot is for evidence, I think, to show if they need to people saying like, hey, this is what they sent us. For those curious, yes, mother-in-law is young. She had my husband at 16 or 17 years old, and we got married young as well. Very common among the families in the field work. Let's see. Okay, so then that's when he said, very common among my family and in the field of work he is in. And that field of work is the military. So him sharing his mother's content would heavily affect him. Not just a firing, that would give him a sharp sexual harassment assault response and prevention case and a possible dishonorable discharge, which would make it extremely difficult to go on after the military. Mm-hmm. Oh my word, this mother is like so disrespectful to not even think selfish. Of what, yeah, she's so selfish. Like, he's in the military. That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, people would think of his marriage, and it is very strict in the military. They are very big on, like...
Well, it's very common in the military to be cheating on your spouse, too.
It is very common, but it is a very common thing that they want to keep marriages together, and that's why they offer family and couple therapy.
Babies born into the military, regardless if it's marriage or not, they're protected. So...
Maybe there's a reason why he went into the military, so he could be away from his mom forever.
Maybe.
So that's all I have for an update right now. But trust me, there will be another. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so my husband and I have spoken with therapists about the entire situation. We've drawn a conclusion on how we want to handle things. Well, it looks like you already kind of handled things already. Okay, so that being said, I think they basically said that we've planned ourselves. My mother-in-law will be cut off until she does the self-work and no longer is overly sexually towards family. That being said, my husband and I are prepared to cut her off permanently if needed. She will not likely attend therapy herself, and as she sees it, is unimportant. I'm not sure if her opinion comes from her visiting a therapist previously, but she does believe that therapists just tell you everything wrong about yourself and why you need to change. They don't actually try to help your mental health. It just makes it worse. And I'm sure everyone can imagine what has caused her to draw those conclusions. As of now, my husband and I will not be pushing legal actions. We've decided that for us, it is time that we prefer to lay down the law and that we will feel comfortable with. If that is respected, that is a great, or nothing more will come out in our end. If this is not respected and there are more attempts to reach us in creating accounts, we will most likely be seeking a restraining order for her. Okay, so on to the family. As a reminder, husband's side of the family was blowing up our phones and asking us why we blocked mother-in-law. We told them. Didn't send the photos, of course, but did describe them. Things were understood quickly and nothing more was said. I don't know if family has taken it upon themselves to confront mother-in-law about this. If they have, great, she needs it. If they haven't, oh well. So, yeah, honestly, it just kind of goes on her own thing. As when she was younger, sex was never talked about in her family. She was very opposite, where nothing was talked about. But when she's been hanging around her husband for so long, she kind of got used to it. Like, oh, maybe this is more normal, because family members are actually more comfortable talking about sex with their families and mine isn't. So it was like they were both like, oh, this must be normal.
Yeah.
No, it's not. To answer some common questions, my mother-in-law is not this much when it comes to my sister-in-laws. I always assume it was because they were younger, but the picture being sent to only my husband really hammered the nail into the covert incest coffin. Come to find out, mother-in-law also isn't quite as open with sister-in-laws. She is open about her own doings, but doesn't meddle in their own like she did with my husband. I mentioned before that she would question my husband on our sex life when we were dating. Another phone call with my middle sister-in-law revealed that she's absolutely never done this to the girls. In fact, there have been times where she's overheard my sister-in-law saying something about their boyfriends, and she would say, ew, lower your voices, I don't want to know. Whereas she would straight up ask my husband about sex. Yeah.
She's obviously missing a man.
I would say so. And that was the next question. Where is father-in-law? He's never been in the picture. My husband's dad left when mother-in-law was pregnant with her youngest daughter. Mother-in-law doesn't have a father herself because he left when she was a baby. And there aren't a lot of men in the family. 2 distant uncles and a few cousins. But as far as close family, my husband was the only male growing up. And yes, some people got it right. My husband looks exactly like his bio dad. Same build, same hair type and color, same bone structure, same eye shape, even a very similar birthmark. The fact makes this even more gross altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just goes on about how it just gets you, I don't know. It keeps going on about just like how she just would get too comfortable with talking about this. And honestly, yeah, the older he got.
Well, not to mention, if you guys got kids coming into the picture, and let's say you have a son, or even daughters, I wouldn't want my daughters around that with their grandma.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So here she goes. And finally, no, we don't have children. However, I have always had concerns about leaving children alone with her because of the openness. I will know when my future children are ready to know about certain topics. Those conversations will come from my husband and I, and only us. I've always been concerned that mother-in-law would discard our opinions on that and give our future children the birds and the bees talk whenever she felt like. Unless she cannot fix whatever is wrong with her in her brain, she will not ever be alone with our kids and even possibly know them. But overall, this is my final in the whole situation. The original post was removed in the sub, so it's been reposted. Thank you so much to everyone for all the advice. I didn't even know the term convert incest before posting, and I'm grateful that I do now. It's given my husband and I something to do a little research on. My husband will be taking all of this into therapy more than just his last sessions and at my next personal one. Again, thank you, everyone. Yeah, man, I feel like this needs a lot of therapy.
She needs a lot of therapy.
The mother-in-law needs a lot of therapy.
Trauma there.
I would maybe even say the husband, because he's had to deal with this all of his life growing up, and it's only been more targeted on him than anyone else. And obviously it's because him being the son probably looks like dad who left her, and she's never had a man since. She's probably like fooled around, but she's probably had this weird fantasy that her husband was still there with the son being there. And
just
probably,
having a man in the house, or, then who knows.
Probably like, oh, he looks just like a young, like the man I loved, and got way too comfortable with the sexual talk. Like,
yeah,
I'm not even looking forward to that talk with my own kids. Like, we're going through right now, like, body changes and everything. And that right now is just a journey in itself. Yeah. So, good thing my oldest is more of she's not into boys. She's, all the rest of the girls like boys. But I know. I'm okay. I don't like anyone, right? And that's okay. She's always asked, like, so when can I date? I'm like, when you're dead and I think you're ready. Which will be when you've
18
fully developed your frontal lobe. Yeah. No.
Maybe even after.
Right? Just a couple more years extra to make sure you're ready. Just
to make sure everything's fully fused there.
Right? And then a couple more after. No, okay. Yeah. I don't think it's wrong for kids to date young. But I honestly think people, when you're young, you're getting to know other people. And that's kind of like a fun way of dating in high school. But honestly, I think once you're an adult or out of high school, I think by then you should start dating for marriage.
You'll
I think
have more standards and expectations and what you're looking
have
for.
a purpose. Why are you dating?
You've seen your friends who have dated weird people or things that you
Exactly.
didn't like or you did like.
Don't date just to have those weird stories. Those will come on its own.
Don't date just to have attention.
Yes. And when you're like, you think you need someone in your life because you've never been out alone, it's okay to be independent. I would recommend being out there and independent first before just wanting a boyfriend just to have a person. Like, obviously, we all want to have someone in our lives. So make that a natural thing and not forced upon.
Yeah. Get to know yourself
Get to know yourself.
You're single.
Even start living or, living on your own or something like that. Just be more independent and get to know yourself first. Get to know who truly you are as a person before you date someone, because I've definitely, growing up in high school, I would date someone and then I would start liking all their stuff, and then I'd start listening to like more of this music because this person I was dating liked it. And so my mom could always be like, you've been hanging around this person, haven't you? Or I can already tell what you're like because you've been dating this person and they're like really into country, or this another person was really into like like pop or rap or something like that. So it's like, yeah, they do have influences on you, and I do know that becoming your own person is way more important first before you start dating someone else, because then you kind of like regret it as you get older, like oh, I never got to really truly know myself.
Yeah.
So I always know it's weird and spunky and everything, and I tell Justin every day that he's gonna have to deal with me. He liked me for who I was, even though I annoy him. I annoy the heck out of him. But he married me because he liked me and saw that potential.
Potential.
I'm the best. There is no potential because I am the best. I'm the top. You can never get any better. Okay, but that's all I got, guys. That's the end.
Okay, bye.
No. I'd like to say a few words.
Let's say grace.
7. No. That might be a while. No, guys, it was just another week. Everything. I'd love to hear for, fellow people who've been listening for a while. If this is your first one listening, I hope you enjoy. If you have any, suggestions on what else you'd like to listen to, let us know. You can email us at theredditrandos@gmail.com. The email and a link to my platform is listed on all platforms at the bottom of the description, so you guys can click on it and actually literally talk directly to me through text or through email. So please, if you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about, reach out to us. But honestly, I'd love to hear from anyone that has been listening for a while. We just got someone from Australia that downloaded one of the episodes, so Aussie. So I'm sorry if I offended that person. Be like, all right, no more. They're like, never again. That's what I get for coming out of my comfort zone, listening to new things. So, okay, guys. Well, I've enjoyed having Brandy here.
Always.
But she didn't bring me something I wanted tonight, so
it's not good for you.
You know what? I don't have it as often. She
wanted drugs.
Okay, that is so not true. But really, do you have any? No.
Maybe.
No, I was telling her that she should bring alcohol, and she's like, oh, I brought myself. I'm like, that's not good enough. And then she's like, oh, I made Jello shots. I'm like, you should have brought that.
I should have.
I never have them unless you have them. I don't know. But I guess we still had fun without alcohol, No, it's fun. I only drink around you because no one else wants to drink. And Justin only likes soda.
He's a weirdo.
He is a weirdo. He's a big weirdo. You would think a Mexican would like his tequila or something, but no, he just likes his orange soda out of all the things. Okay, guys. I guess we'll catch you later.
See ya.
Goodbye.